Good evening and welcome to Leicester Fan TV, the Monday Night Fan Show. Phil is taking a well-earned international break after one game. He's a bit tired after the Man United game and the excitement, I think, has worn him out. But join for the next 30 minutes. Jackson will pop on. We're going to talk about a certain game that happened on the weekend and another famous result over Manchester United, a 4-2 win, if I remember rightly, from Saturday after a few beers after that game. We'll go through the whole game. We'll get your points of view. So get your comments in, guys, because this is what the show's about. It's you. Get your comments in. We're going to talk about Man United's game, what you thought of players, who my players who stand out in the game were, Jack's individual players, and what a performance. I didn't think we'd be sitting here with this, but we're sitting here tonight talking about a 4-2 win. So get ready, get your comments in, and it's your Monday Night Fan Show.
Welcome to Leicester Fan TV. Are you ready for the show? Thanks to our sponsors, ADT Taxis, Everard's, Pucka Pies, Pink Car Leasing, Leicester Riders, Hologram, The Fox's Arms, Peter's Pizzeria, Hope Against Cancer, and Newbie & Co. Estate Agents. We want your views, we want your comments, so join us live. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Good evening, Facebook user. Get your comments in, guys, as always. We want to see if it's your fans. Morning, mate. Still lost my voice from Saturday. Hope you're well, pal. Very good, mate. I know exactly how you feel. It's been a long weekend. Great win. Didn't see that coming, mate. I said I thought I had a good feeling. I said probably my head was saying we'd win. And what could I say? I think my heart was saying it's going to be a tough weekend, but my head, for some reason, I thought we were going to do it, and we did. I thought Phil wouldn't show his face after all his moaning over the last few weeks. Keith, calm down. Give him a break. Hey, Evening Mars. LCFC Gary. Evening, Tom. The difference on Saturday was Johnny Evans and a fantastic team effort against a disjointed Man U team. You know what? I think that's quite a fair reflection on the game for me. But we'll start with that comment, if I'm honest. Yeah? Let me get Jack in. He's sitting in behind. Good evening, Jack.
Hello. How is everyone?
Mate, I think everyone's absolutely buzzing for the weekend. But I think this point here is a great one to start with, mate. And the man himself, well, I was going to start with, get your comments on about Johnny Evans. Jack, what was your thoughts on Johnny's performance at the weekend, mate? Because I was very nervous after he had only played against Millwall and got injured again. And how long was he going to be out for? No match fitness, no international game to play in because we didn't risk him in that. What was your thoughts of Johnny Evans' performance at the weekend?
What can you say when Johnny Evans is at Leicester shirt time? He gives 100%. The most worrying thing would have been that foot injury. Would he have been coming off quite early? No, was the answer. And what a leader and what a defender Johnny Evans is, the experienced type. And it just shows that with Johnny Evans, Cags is a completely different player. And it showed that on the pitch against Manchester United. Very well set up defensively. Daniel Amati was sound and so was Cags with Johnny Evans rooting them on at the weekend at the back.
I mean, they just put in there the different team with Johnny Evans and them. It is, mate. It's a massive difference. Like Daniel Amati, out of the 4 games we've won the season, Daniel Amati's played in all 4 games. And he gets slated apparently quite a few times. So fair play to Daniel Amati. Playing Johnny at the back means one thing, that signs you can drift back into that left-hand side of the central 3, or if play with Johnny at the left-hand side of him, and he looks more comfortable on the left than he does on the right when Vestergaard plays on the left. He looks a different player. Andy Meadow says, can we give Daniel Amati some credit as well? Mate, Daniel Amati was there. I said the back 3, they all had Ronaldo in his pocket. Someone just mentioned Ronaldo. Where's he gone? Breaking news, they found Ronaldo wandering around Melton Road, mate. For all the hype, what was bugging me all week, and I don't know what anyone else thought, but there was a lot of hype about Ronaldo coming to the KP and how great it is. I'm like, I didn't really care less. I'd seen him as a kid. I've seen him as a 36-year-old. And yes, he's a hell of a player, but I ain't fussed. I was more happy to go down there and watch Leicester play than Cristiano. Look, we all want to see good players play, but for me, it's all about Leicester. And there was just such a hype this week about Cristiano coming to town. And, well, for me, you're paying a lot of money for a player who looks past his best glory days at the weekend if he's got to try and carry that Manchester United team. Did Man U stop on the way Ronaldo decided to get off the bus? There was a mask. Everyone lifts when Johnny plays. He does, mate. And I think we're just saying it. Johnny Evans playing makes such a difference to the team. You could see it from Casper all the way through the team. There's not a nervousness. If we look, let's break it down. The 2 goals we conceded. I mean, the first one's a hell of a strike. We all know Greenwood loves getting on that left, and probably you've got to show down the channel there. But it's a wonder strike. It's gone in. It's gone to a place where no one's going to stop it. The second goal, very disappointing for me. And I said it on my review on Saturday that, to me, that is too easy for one ball to come over the top from Lindelof and Ronaldo to break off Ricardo Pereira like he did and make the bendy run. And running behind was way too easy. And I think we'll learn from that. I think that's Perez's probably, not Perez, Ricardo Pereira's weak point sometimes when he defends, that he does switch off when he's got someone a bit quicker than him to mark. And we saw again Saturday that him and probably Amate got caught out between them. They didn't know where he'd gone. But hopefully now with John in there, we'll learn from that. Cags got his dad back in Johnny Evans. Mate, he's just a different player. Daniel Amate appreciation, mate. Daniel's brilliant. Like I said, 4 wins this season. Daniel Amate's played in all of them. You'll give him credit where it's due. Ross says, I thought Ronaldo at the high cross. Everyone's seen Ronaldo. He was somewhere. We then move through the middle of the park, and Tielemans, well, we'll carry on at the back because as a player for me, where's he gone? Let's bring him up. For me, who I thought was my man of the match on Saturday, if he's on here. Forget how high it is. There we go. Batman himself, Timmy Castagne. I've got to give a shout out to the man. I mean, we signed him last year and he played some great games. Got injured big game pre-season away playing with Belgium, broke his eye socket, took his time to come back in. But for me, I gave him man of the match Saturday. To swap from right to left, no moaning, no grumbling, get on with it. Helped set up the 3rd goal with that ball after the restart and getting in behind and getting smashed. No fear, nothing. I just thought he was absolutely brilliant on Saturday. What do you think of Timmy Castagne on Saturday, Jack?
Fantastic. I've said to Reedy in the last few weeks, Timothy Castagne and Ricardo would be good to start with each other, whether it's either left back and right back or down that right-hand side. It proved no different. They're world-class players on their day, then pair. Timothy Castagne deserves to start. I think he's had a great season so far since coming back from the injury. Ricardo, he'll back to his best on Saturday, running down them wings, getting them crosses in. The one that Vardy nearly scored at the back post, where they didn't really know what to do with it. Timothy Castagne, he can get forward and he can get back. I mean, Ryan Bertrand, he can get forward, but then he met some clumsy challenges coming back, so he ain't got enough pace to get back. But Timothy Castagne, he's got an engine, and it keeps running. And it's good to see that we play that formation, and the way Ricardo and Castagne adapted to it against Man United was just incredible to watch.
Andy, mate. Tommy drinking antifreeze. Mate, it's amazing. But no, I mean, like you say, Jack, Timmy Castagne was absolutely brilliant the weekend for me. He was on mine and man of the match. Palace away was man of the match for me. One of the only players who can take credit from the performance. But this weekend, again, no mucking around. It's what we've been crying out for, seeing them both playing on opposite flanks. And I think Ricardo, it definitely can't play the left-hand side. We've seen it a couple of times last year. He just looks so uncomfortable because he can't run past people and cross, where you put him on the right, he just beats people for fun. And I think like the positive coming out of it was playing that formation, the amount of times that they both were touchline to touchline, both on the touchline, getting wide as anything, stretching the play for Man United, but both doing it at the same time. And the next player we'll come into, who I thought had a beast of a game in midfield, absolute beast, was this young man. Bakary Soumare. What a performance from this young man in the middle of the park. To come in for Wilfred Ndidi, who he knows out for a while, and really boss it for me. He wasn't scared about playing against Pogba. He wasn't scared against Matic. He absolutely bossed it in the middle of the park. Not just tackles, but he was drifting past people. And this is the best thing about him. He can motor. He can knock the ball and go past people for fun. He's got such technical feet for a big man in the middle of the park and being built chunky that he can just literally body swerve past people. And he was just making the Man United midfield look ordinary at times in the middle of the park. I thought he was brilliant with Tielemans next to him, but he really, really stood out. What was your thoughts of Bakary Soumare?
Yeah, he filled Wilfred Ndidi's boots at the weekend. It was Bakary Soumare take the ball from you. It's normally Wilfred Ndidi doing that sort of job. But he did. Wilf proud at the weekend, Tom. He stood in, made his mark on that pitch, defended well when needed, and took them balls off Pogba, Matic, even Bruno Fernandes. Who would have thought that? But, he didn't let Fernandes run past him. He thought, you know what, Fernandes, you might be this world-class player, but I'm having your balls, mate. And he done exactly that. He's a great player. If you watched him in the French league last season, and he was fantastic for Lille, and what a price we got him for. He's only going to get better, and I think the experience that Wilf's going to help him with this season is going to get better and better and become one of the world-class centre defensive midfielders.
Nicky Moore says, what a confidence builder the result is Saturday. Could be turning point in the season. If we can beat them, we can beat pretty much anyone. I said it before the game that Saturday was, for me, a massive game. Not just that it's Man United come to town, but to go out there and give a performance that we haven't seen this season. I think we've seen maybe one or two iffy performances. We were lucky against Wolves to win. We were lucky against Norwich to get wins. The Man City performance was probably the best of the season until Saturday, that we actually played half decent. And if we'd taken our chances, what Barnes had with the header and the crosser bot against him, we probably might have got a point from that game. But I just thought Saturday was the overall reset button. As they've said it, I think it's nice to see Rodgers come out and say, I sat the players down. We watched videos of last year. I've pulled Maddison aside and shown him clips on the last two seasons, what he was doing brilliantly, what he needs to get back to doing. And maybe this is what we needed, was a bit of a reality check after the two great seasons for me, for the fifth and an FA Cup win, the Community Shield win. Maybe not the stuffing out of us at the beginning of the season with some poor performances, and the lads lost confidence in themselves. Brendan sitting down in the international break with the players he had left and the players that didn't come back, they looked like there was a bit more swagger about them, what we hadn't seen this season. Last season, beginning of the season, we were playing very good football and beating teams by doing that. This season, it hasn't happened, and you can see the players. Palace away was a big one for me, panicking, get the ball, get it forward as quick as we can. But Saturday, it was all about the timing, knocking the ball around the back, and then at the right point, with Bakary Soumare or Tielemans making the drop, making the run, pulling people out of positions, and then passing it through to Maddison. We then go on to the man himself, number 8, Mr. FA Cup, Mr. Leicester City for the FA Cup. And someone's asked a very good question. Was Tielemans' goal a shot or a cross? Get your comments in, guys, because I want to know your opinion on this. Was it a cross or was it a shot for Tielemans? By far, his best game in a long time in a Leicester shirt. He's done all right this season, but he hasn't performed to the standards he has done. I thought his performance for Belgium the other night was very concerning. He gave away the penalty. He got booked. He looked all over the place for Belgium. I was very concerned him coming back to Leicester and where he would be form-wise. But for me, his Saturday, he was back to his best. He was linking up the play. He was getting forward. What was your thoughts on it, mate? And what's your thought? Was it a cross or was it a shot?
Watching it from the cop end, it looked like a cross where he dinked it into the back post, but obviously it swerved into the net. I thought we were looking for Jamie Vardy at that back post. But no, it were a shot. Better than Mason Greenwood's, to be honest. I don't think Mason Greenwood would have got it from there. What a goal it was, though. But it all came from Kel, Tom. And what a fantastic engine Kel's got. Full of confidence and took the ball from Maguire. The fridge got stood on his own at the back. Kel took the ball and said, you know what, Harry? You go to Mark's Electricals and stand out in that window and get advertised for selling point because I'm taking your ball. And that's mine. And Kel did exactly that. And Youri just banged it in the top corner. And what a goal it was. Youri Tielemans back to his best and, pointed to the badge when he scored. Does that mean he's staying at the club? We'll never know, but I really hope he does stay. The fans love him here. So does the football club. Brendan obviously wants him to stay. And so does the ownership at Leicester City. I think it'll all come down now to performances of the football team as well. And I think Youri will build confidence, and the way Youri played at the weekend, winning the balls, spreading that play, that was the Youri Tielemans we know when he came on loan, when he signed permanent, and what a fantastic play Youri Tielemans is when he does turn it on.
I'm going to go with Jack from mine in SK1 and in the corner. I thought he's crossed it and it's gone in, but having watched it back, there's no one at the far post for him to cross it to. He's generally I think, looked for it. Brennan said Saturday that it's something he's tried in training, that the goalkeeper thinks that he's going to whip it into that 6-yard area, and that he sort of like tries to catch them out because he thinks he's going to go low and hard or chest height, and then he suddenly whips it a bit more height over it and gets the extra like bend on it to go towards the back post. Fair play to Tielemans. It was a brilliant shot, and he really was on fire at the weekend for me, hitting the post. I mean, I thought that was in, and what a save from David De Gea. That is a save of the season up there. That's going in for me, and to get fingertips on it, fantastic. We then go to this man, and he's been off fire for the past 9 months, but Saturday, credit where credit due, and I've slated him enough this season, but fair play, James Maddison. You put on a hell of a show. A lot better. Whatever Rodgers had done and sat you down and said to you, I take my hat off, mate, because Saturday your performance was fantastic. You did what you were doing of old, getting the ball, taking one touch, looking up and getting the pass in. There was a few times you dawdled, and you can tell that match fitness was still probably lacking. I think you went off at the right point. But in general, for me, Jack, Maddison was back to his best on that game, and that's what we want to see. We saw it a little bit in the Europa League game at Ziegler Walsall, where he came on the final 15 minutes and started to look back to his best. But for me, first Premiership game in a long time that Maddison walked off that field to a standing ovation, Jack.
Yep. He comes under a lot of criticism, James Maddison, because of his fashion profile for booming. But, we've all criticised him this season. And I'll eat my humble pie. We're fantastic on against Manchester United. He showed what James Maddison can do. He put his football knowledge and his game knowledge there more than his fashion designing. And when he puts his football brain on, he's magnificent, unplayable. And he did exactly that. He linked up well with Tielemans, where we got the ball with Kel. Kel come running forward. Obviously, Maddison back-heeled it. Tielemans crossed it in and Vardy in. He scored if it wasn't for Maguire leaving it on the line. But no, James Maddison were fantastic overall. Credit where credit's due, Tom, like you say. He were fantastic. And one of the man of the matches for me at the weekend.
This is an interesting point. It's the formation that suits the team. And I completely agree. And I think if you listen to Caspro the last week or so, he's even said it that the formation has not suited what we've played. And going back to this 5 at the back, you would call it, or a 3-5-2 or a 5-3-2. There's so many variations. God, I mean, if you went to O'Neill days, it was definitely a 5-3-2 with wing backs. Today, you could class as a 3, a 4, a 1 and a 2 with the Maddison playing as a 10. And your two wingers being, right wing and left wing being really wing backs as well. But to have that role automatically, this man and this man get the opportunity to play together. Something that I know all the fans have been crying out for a long time, to see Vardy and Nacho playing on a regular basis. We saw to Palace what can happen, 2 goals out of nothing. And we'll go back to the first goal for Leicester. The fans are in uproar. The free kick given for a pull on Pogba. Very harshly given, considering that Harry Maguire just done exactly the same thing to Iheanacho on the touchline. Pogba plays it across the box. First rule of any football, you don't play across your box. Vardy puts the press on to Lindelof. It goes back to De Gea. De Gea then gets pressed by Vardy again. So the ball goes to Mr. Fridge. The Fridge frees himself. Harry Maguire, 80 million for a Fridge. And he stands and watches it. I mean, again, rule 1 of football, you go to the ball. And for me, he clears the ball. But no, he dawdles. And, the magic man, Mr. Iheanacho at the moment, who's on fire and confidence is booming, steamrollers him, nicks the ball and sets up the goal, mate. Which just shows you having those 2 men up front, having that midfield behind him in Maddison to do the next press. What a difference the formation makes to our team. So what's your thoughts on this formation, and is it here to stay, Jack?
Better formation. Johnny Evans, Daniel Amati, Suanchu, Ricardo, Castagne. They work well as the fantastic 5. Bertrand and Vestergaard, they're probably better left on the bench and then bringing on at a later time in the game. They worked better. You've seen the difference in Cags, in Amati. They wanted the ball. They were hungry. Cags turned into the Turkish delight and got that goal, rightfully so. 2 goals in 2 games against Manchester United for Castagne in the Premier League. It works well. Kellen Vardy, last season, look at them. They scored bare goals between them. Look how many goals Vardy was setting up for Kel. And look how it was a treat to watch. It's seen it against Crystal Palace. They both scored. And if you keep playing, then they're both going to be confident with each other. And they're only going to get better with each other and score more goals between them. And I mean, they're going to cause problems for Brentford at the weekend as well if we can keep the same team. Maddison seems very freely. Youri Tielemans and Bakary Soumare, they seem very good on the ball. I mean, on Saturday, Tom, they seem more quick up, passing, quick movement, and people are actually moving instead of just standing still. And that's what we've seen this season with Leicester before the Man United game. We're allowing teams the ball and we're just standing still and wanting to go forward. And that's why we go back so much. But on Saturday, we did the complete opposite. And if we can keep battling the way we are, we were like gladiators against Man United. Everyone wanted the ball and everyone put a shift in, going forward and coming back. And it was a great team effort to watch on Saturday against Manchester United and a fully deserved win.
Someone said about Wilfred Dibry. That's the first time we've won a game in a long time without Wilf playing. That says it all. The team was up for it Saturday. And maybe Man U, but for me, it's a massive game. Well, now the look at the substitution, because, fairness, Brendan's taken a lot of stick the last few weeks for making poor substitutions at poor points in the game. His first sub on Saturday, well, this man takes a lot of unfair stick at times. He goes out there, he gives 100%, whatever you might say, the bloke gives 100% every single time. And again, Saturday, very disappointing to hear sections of the crowd booing Perez, booing that the gaffer has made a substitution at the point in the game where, for me, Maddison had gone very quiet. And that he was trying to liven the team up again at 1-1 as well. Let's not forget, we hadn't scored another goal at that point. It was 1-1 when Perez came on the pitch. The team looked just to start to flag. Maddison had got a little bit out of the game by that point, and Brendan made a brilliant substitution. Now, to hear the boos, and I stood up and shouted, "What are we doing? Why are we?" The fans saying, "Why are we booing a player?" I don't ever want to hear Leicester fans booing someone in a Leicester shirt. He's playing for your club. He might have a bad game now and then. But to boo a player before he's come on the part, it doesn't do the player confidence any good. Now, we can go on about it for ages, but for me, Saturday, what a turning point he was. I mean, he gets involved straight away. He's linking the play up between Vardy. Then the next sub comes on, and he's part of the action. Mr. Daka. What a performance he put in when he came on the part. The substitution for Brendan's were perfect. The first one to bring on Perez, he gets involved. He's knocking the ball right. He's looking for the 1-2s in and around the box. He link up play between the midfield and the strikers was starting to tick again. Then you look at the moment for the second goal leading up to the corner. Daka does a Vardy, runs in behind. Probably got to work on his shooting ability in that situation. Forced to save what you want him to do, but for me, he's got to go further across the goalkeeper and really get in that bottom corner like Vardy would. But again, he's going to work with Vardy on this. This is where Vardy will be sitting down and trying to, help him out. But Daka making the movement. And then the goal, well, what can you say? The ball comes into the back post. Daka takes a great touch and a great shot really quickly. Saved by De Gea. Hits Perez. Hits the fridge. And falls straight to the Turkish delight and flies in. I mean, what can you say by that man? I mean, the goal had been coming by that point. We'd hit the post. We'd had the chance after chance. And for me, Perez was a turning point in the games. What's your thought on Perez? And guys, get your comments in, guys. If you don't agree that with me that I shouldn't be standing here saying you don't boo a player for coming on, then tell me. Tell me why you think it's acceptable to boo a player. I want to know because I don't get that. So explain to me. If you booed on Saturday when Perez came on, explain to me why. Just put it in the comments. I'm just trying to get my head around it. What's your thoughts, Jack, on Perez?
Perez, I'm not his biggest fan, as you know, but I will give credit where credit's due. Fantastic performance, Mr. Perez. That's a £30 million player I like to see at Leicester City. Worked hard, put a shift in. He picked up the ball when Castagne got fouled by Wan-Bissaka. There were like 4 Man United players around him, and what a bit of skill by Perez to get that ball to Vardy, and what a goal. And, Vardy credited him as well in that corner. and rightfully so. He got him 2 assists. And what fantastic play he did when he came on. He worked hard and got us goals. Harry Maguire from set pieces, really. He just stood there. I mean, £80 million for that, for a Man United lamppost or fridge or whatever you want to call him. Manchester United be calling up Mark's Electricals after that game, wanting the return. So I hope they've got that receipt. It might be out of date by the time, obviously, the transfer went through many years ago. So, credit where credit's due. Then Mr. Daka came on. I was praising him. I thought, you know what? Something's got to give for Daka, because that Europa League goal got wrongly ruled out for me. And then it got put right on Saturday against Man United. And to get that in his feet quick enough to then tap it home, what a fantastic celebration as well by Daka, and rightfully deserved. It's going to give him massive confidence for that first goal now. And like you say, Vardy's experience this season will help him massively to push on. And I think that's our plan B in games, to get Daka on the pitch and get that pace going, because Brendan Rodgers' substitutions have been very frustrating to watch this season. But Saturday, spot on, Mr. Rodgers. You got it right. And I feel that, against a team like Man United, who's getting leggy in that second half after all the battling they went through and all the kicks and the whatever from that Leicester team, we worked hard. We fully deserved the goals. That attacking threat showed how good we can be. Perez, Daka, and then he obviously brought the Yannick Vestergaard on for Johnny Evans. I know it might not have been a substitution, what Leicester fans wanted to see, but Johnny Evans had cramp, so you have to bring him off. He played for 80 odd minutes, so that's good to see from Johnny Evans. But Vestergaard did his job when he came on. He kept Man United out, and that's what you want to see. And we conceded no more goals when Vestergaard came on, which is a first for Leicester City this season. So all happy all round.
Tom Fantis song. I did hear the song Saturday. I didn't get all the words to it, but it does sound like a good song. We'll talk about the third goal for me, because it was something that we haven't seen in a long time. And there was a couple of times at the KP. We'll talk about the atmosphere now, guys. It's something I want to pick up on this. It's the first time in a long time being at the KP that we've gone a goal down, and within seconds, the noise levels at the KP went up by 2 or 3 notches, that the fans were like, okay, we've conceded, but you've shown us in the first 15 minutes, 17 minutes before the goal went in, what you were doing. You were battering Man U by that point. So we'll back you. And it raised. And then, well, what can you say? I mean, to go a goal down, but once again, before that ball was even put on the spot, the Leicester fans believed that we still could win the game. I mean, the arrogance from Man U players to not even go and celebrate with their fans. You've just scored in the 80th minute. You've just made it 2-2. But you're more bold about getting the ball back and going for a winning goal, even though you've been absolutely mugged off all game and battered, that you thought you could go and win the game. Instead, you've shot yourself in the foot because you've kicked off really quickly, Leicester have. One ball down the sidelines. Castagne gets wiped out by Wan-Bissaka, who, for me, was a lucky boy on the weekend. There was a few Man U players who were lucky not to get booked early on. And then the footwork of Perez to drag not one, but 3 players towards him. The fridge freezer, well, I think his wheels must have kept rolling and he kept going towards the goal and left Vardy unmarked in the middle of the box to, what can you say, the GOAT, the gift that keeps on giving with goals. I mean, what a finish from Vardy. A side foot volley into the far corner, leaving De Gea with no chance to dive at it. It was a hell of a finish. And then to top it off at the end, another, I don't know, I think he got a third assist in the game, a little flick. I think Perez got a flick for that goal for Daka. And we'll go to Daka and talk about it for a minute, because for me, he was superb when he came on. But his goal, it hit him in the midriff, but the ball's wide of the goal. And he takes 2 touches very quickly to get that ball under the control and gets just enough to knock it over the line. I mean, there's players there who would have completely fluffed it. But for him there, he'd had another one in the first half, in the second half, where he fluffed it in front of goal. But he takes it, it hits him, and then to take the 2 touches that quickly, fair play to Daka, because it's a hell of a finish from the angle he was at. And hopefully now that will breathe him confidence going into the room, into the season as we, push on, hopefully, up the league. Let's get your comments in, guys. SK3 was rocking. I mean, the ground was electric Saturday. It's the best it has been there in a long time. It's up there with the 4-0 Villa game when we were rocking. It was absolutely brilliant. Paulson played good advantage for the. Mate, I said that Saturday. I thought Paulson had a very poor game, bar 2 bits. Was the advantage for the goal for me? He was brilliant there because so many referees quickly blow the whistle. He gave the advantage, but I don't get in the second minute when
Matic fouled Maddison.
Fouls Maddison. When he's turned him, he's through on goal with no one around him, and it's not a yellow card. He was so poor refereeing on Saturday. I don't know if everyone's seen it. Have we seen the half-time camera footage of the tunnel with Casper? So as the players come out, the Paulson said, "We're waiting for you," and Casper just replies, "Well, we're waiting for you to give us a pull for yellow card, referee. An easy yellow." And Paulson's like, "No." But it was brilliant from Casper in the tunnel. So quick-witted. Oh, loads of car. Here we go. Maguire was due for defrosting, I think. Look, in fairness, I think Ole Gunnar Solskjaer made the biggest mistake by playing him. He's been out, he had one training session and he chuck him in against 2 of the most informed strikers in the Premier League. To be fair, Fridge played for over 3/4 of the training ground. He did pay for 3/4 of training, we'll give him due. And then Ben Chilwell will pay for the rest of it. It's a class statement there from Maguire's performance. Well, it says it all. It does say it all. We now move on to your show tomorrow night, Jack, when you'll be looking at Sparta Moscow, is it? Have I got that right? We are playing Moscow Wednesday.
Yeah, we've got Spartak Moscow on Wednesday.
Spartak Moscow on Wednesday. 3:30 for you people who will work, and we all need to get home in time. Thanks for that, TV, and to Moscow that they want to kick off at 3:30 on a Wednesday. We have to work. I hate you. But Jack, I think Jack's doing a watch on. So we do go into that game. Jack tomorrow night will be going through the whole of the lineups, who he thinks will play, what the team changes will be. And I think there will be a few changes. I really do. I think Daka might get a start out. But Jack, thank you for coming on tonight. Thank you as always for everyone putting in the comments in, guys. The 30 minutes have flown by tonight. And I think we all knew it was going to fly by with that much to talk about with the performance we've seen. Jack, thank you again, mate. And we'll catch up with you soon.
Yeah. See you tomorrow night.
Cheers, mate. And again, it leaves me to say thank you to you guys for your comments as always. I fielded Phil tonight. It's been brilliant as always to get on here and have a chat on a Monday night, especially after we win. It's a lot harder when we lose. But just remember, we're on every night over the week. Tonight, the Monday night, the fan show. Normally with Phil. He'll probably be back next Monday after we play Brentford, chatting about that game. Then you got the WSL's women's show on a Tuesday night. It's probably going to be an away fan show as well, looking to Spartak Moscow. Wednesday will be a watch-along. I'm sure Jack just said he's going to do the watch-along live, probably going live about 3 o'clock, building up to the game. Thursday night, back for me, the prediction show. And got a very special guest on this week, chatting about the campaign. And we will get her predictions in for this week. Friday, Reedy's show. Building up to Brentford, probably looking back on Wednesday's game. And building up to Brentford away on Sunday. Saturday, obviously, there's no game. There's no show. But remember, Sunday morning, the famous, and Jamie loves me saying it, the famous aftermath show on a Sunday morning, 9:30. Grab your cup of tea and a toast. Jamie's back for another preview show this time as we build up for Brentford. Then there'll be obviously the watch along on Sunday. But obviously, guys, thank you for joining me. Monday night, brilliant as always to have you on. And just remember, it's Leicester Fan TV. It's for the fans, by the fans. And we'll catch you tomorrow night for Jack's show. But for now, good night.
Thanks for watching Leicester Fan TV. Thanks to our sponsors, ADT Taxis, Everard's, Pucka Pies, Pink Car Leasing, Leicester Riders, Hologram, The Fox's Arms, Peter's Pizzeria, Hope Against Cancer, and Newbie & Co. Estate Agents. Make sure to follow us on all of our social channels at Leicester Fan TV. Visit our website, leicesterfantv.com.